Hello everyone, it's AlmightySwan here, and you probably already know this is the title. Now, I want to say this. I have seen this trailer already. I saw it whenever it first came out, so it's not my first reaction to it, but I'm going to give y'all my opinions on the Switch 2 and kind of where I think the price point's going to be. And on top of that, where I personally think when we are going to get the Switch 2. But I want to give you all my reactions to what I personally think about it. So, yeah, let's get into it. Also, Nintendo, don't copyright strike me, please. Obviously, bigger screen. I gotta say one thing is that it looks nice. I don't know how I feel about this kickstand. We're gonna just have the video play first, though. Man, they're gonna sell so many other Switch Joy-Cons. Switch 2 Joy-Cons is gonna be stupid. Like, do you want the Mario one? Or do you want the Zelda one? I'm all gonna buy into it. I like the color coding all this now. I also find it interesting that they are just calling it the Switch 2. System looks nice, though. I like how they're using Super Mario Wonders. We'll talk about this very soon. Okay. Now we're going to go through this whole entire video. So let's generally talk about the Switch 2. One, I'm not surprised they are calling it the Switch 2, but I'm also surprised they are calling it the Switch 2. So, let me explain why I'm surprised and not surprised. So, if anyone knows anything about Nintendo products, they really don't like to call their next predecessor the, like, 2 or the 3, right? They never have done that, right? Throughout Nintendo's history, they have never called their systems a second system. Per se, if you go to the NES to the SNES, Nintendo Entertainment System, to the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Instead of calling it the NES 2, they just called it the Super Nintendo, right? And then we move from that to the N64, N64 to GameCube, GameCube to Wii, Wii to Wii U, Wii U to Switch, right? Hell, even their handheld market, right? Got all the Game Boy brands, right? Original Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP. They never really called it a Game Boy Advance, like Game Boy 2, Game Boy 3. So, but I'm also not surprised that they decided to call the Switch 2. And here's the reason why I'm not surprised they decided to call it. Let's actually get like a good... Here's the Switch 2. I'm not surprised that they are calling the Switch 2 because of the disaster that the Wii U had. And if anyone didn't know, one of the biggest reasons the Wii U absolutely failed is because a lot of people thought it was just a, per se now, a mid-gen upgrade, right? People thought it was as another Wii, but it was actually a more powerful system, and it was the sequel to the Wii. So I'm not surprised they decided to just go and call it the Switch 2, because one, for name brand's sake, you know this is the second Switch, right? We have had the Switch, we have had the Switch Lite, and we had the Switch OLED, indicating that that is just the original Switch, right? That is the Switch brand in generally, and we're probably going to do that again with the Switch 2, like Switch 2 OLED, Switch 2 Lite. You know, we're going to get probably a fully handheld version of this console, maybe a couple of years, 3-4 years down the line. Same thing with OLED and stuff like that. It mostly is to kind of keep the systems, you know, refreshing. So that's my first take on the name. But let's talk about the bigger screen here. I've been wanting the Nintendo Switch to have a bigger screen. That's just an obvious thing. I like the Switch, but over time, the Switch 1 came out 2 years after I got out of high school. And I was perfectly fine on how the Switch was built. But I have realized that I do like the bigger screens. And I was going to get an OLED version, but then you keep hearing the rumors, you know, Switch 2 might be coming around, and I just waited because I was like, I'm not going to spend this X amount of money to buy this system, you know? Not this system, but buy the OLED version of this. So, we really don't have... We have rumors of the specs. I'm not going to go into the rumor specs. I'm going to pretty much wait until they announce that. Because I don't know if this is an OLED screen. People are saying it's not an OLED screen. It's just a normal... I'm forgetting the word. Screen. Someone will mention it in the comments and be like, yeah, it's this type of screen you're talking about. So... but let's talk about the design of the Switch 2. That... I'm gonna mute that. So, these are magnetic. It definitely shows that. Also, they are kind of proving that you could just open the system. That's a good thing. USB-C port. A lot of fans. This is what I realized is that on the original Switch, at least what I'm thinking of, I'm not going to go behind me and try to grab it, is the fans or the heat that comes out of the system is usually on the top. So usually would be up a little bit above. And I think there might be some on the bottom. I don't remember 100%. It's been a while since I used my Switch. But these are a lot bigger if there are some. What I realized. Power button, volume button sitting on top. Makes sense. More heat vents. There is a USB-C up on the top. So I'm kind of curious because we know on the bottom of the system, there's a USB-C to obviously dock it, right? So I'm wondering if this other USB-C is to charge it. That'd be a really weird design because normally you would just charge the Switch you know, with the USB-C cord. But this might be a whole nother thing. Also, audio jack still coming in clutch in 2025. I love it. I wish phones would do this. Also, I don't know if anyone else noticed, the game cartridge slot is right here. So pretty much I'm probably going to use a bigger memory card for the Switch 2, so they can get bigger games on there. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of, I could see that it is being holed in and it probably snaps kind of like how the DS does. But man, I'm going to be honest, this thing is coming off. You get this for a child, this thing is breaking in one day. It looks very thin. This might be made out of metal too. I'm kind of thinking about this, but I know it's like screwed in there. I just realized this. Like there's a whole like wedge right here. But still, I'm more concerned that this thing is going to inevitably break. You can get a little bit better look at the top. Audio jack, cartridge slots. The cartridge slot is a little bit down than what it normally is. So, but that thing goes really far back. Oh, yeah, this is a better. There is definitely a wedge here, but my biggest issue is this part right here, that this might break off. So, parents, if you are going to get this for your child, be careful of that. You can see the bottom a lot better with the heatsink USB-C. I don't know if they're gonna. Now, the Joy-Cons being bigger, I'm not surprised by this, because one of the biggest complaints, the two biggest complaints about the Joy-Cons are that they are too small for at least adult hands, right? And also the stick drift. I'm really hoping they are fixing the stick drift. There's a point in this video they kind of move the stick around a little bit. So I'm really hoping that they are fixing that issue. Let's look at the side here. So you can definitely see it doesn't slide in anymore like how the Switch, the original Switch was, the Switch 1. But you can see there are magnetic. It pretty much is magnetic, right? So you would just pop it in, pop it out how you want, how you should. And this is a connector. I'm glad these buttons are a lot bigger too, because the other complaints whenever you're using these things to play games with friends like Mario Party and stuff like that, they were just extremely small. Also, can I? No. There's another better picture of the Oh yeah. That's what I was talking about. Hold on. Yeah, they move this around, so I'm wondering if it's gonna be better than how Switch Joy-Cons are. So you can obviously see the shoulder buttons, so are what, ZL or whatever it is. There's a button up here. I wonder what that button's for. I don't know if anyone noticed that yet, or people haven't broke down the trailer enough. I'm just kind of going through this to kind of see what I see. I wonder how much battery life these Joy-Cons also have. I love how they're also color coding this, because so one of the biggest other issues that people have, and this is mostly for children, is that children will put the Joy-Cons in the wrong spot So they would put like this Joy-Con over here and this Joy-Con over here and literally mess up the system. So it does seem like they are combating that a little bit. That's like, hey, this is blue and this is red. Okay. And I bet you they're not going to be able to connect at all. There's probably going to be a stop for it. Also, there's supposed to be a C button here, but they're not talking about the C button. I think it's going to be a capture button. Home button. Pretty much the same Joy-Cons that we all know, just a lot bigger. It looks nice. It looks slick. Playing some Mario Kart. Now, let's talk about the dock. I like this design of the dock a lot better than... It's probably going to be a lot bigger than the Switch, right? But I like the design. I like how slick everything is looking. Everything looks nice. Everything looks modern. Everything looks just good, right? Because the thing about the Switch is that it was... The dock was just a box, right? I can look behind me. It's just a box. So I do like this. It does look like there might be components in this dock. Henceforth, I know the original Switch, the Switch 1, has components in it to obviously bump it up to like 1080p and stuff like that. But I'm going to go off a limb that there might be more components in this, so whenever you dock it, it becomes an actual console. And if you undock it, it's whatever's running in this, right? So I think they took that a little bit. I don't like this thing. I don't like this controller. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to use my controller. This year, 2025, we're going to get into all this. Let's talk about Switch 2 games that they are going to... Switch 2 plays both physical and digital Switch games. Certain Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with the Switch 2. So pretty much they are letting people know this is kind of like how the PS5 is, that you can play majority of the PS4 catalog except for like 8 games. And those 8 games really, to a lot of people, don't matter. But obviously they're going to be like, hey, all Nintendo exclusive games on this system will work fine. I'm very curious on if you have an indie game on this system and those developers might not be around anymore. Are they going to... Are people going to be able to still play them? Right? So there's still a lot of questions. I don't know if there is a list of games right now whenever I'm recording this, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. So let's talk about this Nintendo Direct that we're going to see more of the Switch 2. People, I've talked to this about my friends on Discord. I said April, but some people were saying February because Nintendo likes to do day, month, year, right? But on their official Twitter account, it does say April 2nd. So now let's talk about everything else. When do I think this system is getting launched? I think it's going to get launched in August or September of this year. I'm not going to put a specific date on when it's going to get released. I just think it's going to come out in one of those 2 months. And the reason why is because 1 is before the holidays. 2, they don't really have to compete. I don't think they'll have to compete like with GTA 6 or anything like that, even though this is just a new handheld. I don't think they're going to have to compete with a lot of bigger games than anything else. And it does in August, September, I'm going to more lean to August because it does fit Nintendo better. in a weird month because they've released the Switch 1 in March, back in 2017. So that's what I personally think when we're going to get this system. What do I think we're going to see in the Nintendo Direct? I don't think they're going to show any new games or any games that we have not already seen, right? I don't think we'll see a new Mario Kart, you know, Mario Kart 9, a new Smash Bros. I don't think we'll see a new Mario Odyssey or Mario Galaxy or whatever, but we'll definitely see Metroid Prime 4 being run on this thing. And we're going to see older games being run on this thing compared to newer games, because I'm probably going to save that for June, whenever they have their Nintendo Direct in June. And that's pretty much going to be like, here's the slew of games that you're going to be able to pick up on day one of the Nintendo Switch 2. I do think we're also going to get a release date in this Nintendo Direct. If not, we're going to get a release date in June. But I'm going to put a lot of money on this, that it's going to get an announcement at this Nintendo Direct. That being said, what do I think the price point's going to be? I'm going to say $399.99 USD or 450 bucks. Right? So 449.999, right? Whatever, right? So that's what I personally think about the Switch 2. What I think about the design, I like it. I like how it looks. The question now is, they are going to do a series hands-on event held around the world. So the Switch 2 experience, people are probably going to get flown over to Nintendo headquarters in probably like LA or whatever, if they can. If not, then probably like New York or something like that. That's the reason why I mentioned a second place, because I know what's going on currently in California. Hope everyone's staying safe over there. Just want to mention that too. But if this is their plan, then we're going to hear more from people with their hands-on experience with this system. And I think that's going to really be interesting. Am I going to be a person that buys the Switch 2 day one? If I have the money, yes. If not, I'm probably going to wait around probably sometime next year, 2026, to buy the Switch 2. It really comes down to money for me, but I do want the Switch 2. I've been waiting for a new system from them for a while now. I mean, for a while. And I haven't been playing my Switch a lot because there hasn't been really any games that I'm like, yeah, that's worth playing, right? Last game I played was Tears of the Kingdom. And a lot of the games are remakes or remasters right now that I'm obviously picking up if I want to pick them up. Like Xenoblade Chronicles X is obviously a big one, but for me, for remasters. But I could play them on this. I know I'm going to be able to play them on this system. So, that being said, there's a lot of games I'm going to wait for until this system comes out. So. Anyway, I hope everyone kind of enjoys this video. I know this video is only like originally 2 minutes long, but I wanted to give you my own like impressions and what I personally think about the system. And where I think that when this console is going to come out, practically it's not even a console, it's a hybrid system. But yeah, anyway, I hope everyone has a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, and I will catch you all probably in April for the Switch 2. Bye. Hello everyone, if you like this video then don't hesitate to check out the channel, where I upload my playthroughs, thoughts on games, and many other videos based around video games. If you want to see when the next video goes up, then don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button. Hope everyone has a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye!